The story begins in 1988, in a dusty, forgotten corner of Texas called Rondo, a town with no way out and nobody left with the nerve to fight back. Inside the only saloon that matters, Scotty Thompson's Lena and her father Owen are closing up for the night. Owen moves in a wheelchair, not from any accident. Years ago, he tried to leave this town. Jeremiah Whitfield made sure that he never walked again. That wheelchair isn't a prop. It's a warning to everyone still breathing in Rondo. Before they can even lock the door, 3 men push through. Clyde Whitfield, son of the local crime boss, and 2 of his enforcers. Clyde reminds Lena that the package arrives at the brewery tomorrow and she better be there. Then he gets handsy. Owen calls him out. Clyde slams his head into the wall. He just shoved a man in a wheelchair into a wall because he could. The villain origin story writes itself. After they leave, Lena sits alone and prays in front of a photograph of her late husband, Brian, a soldier, killed in service. She asks him to send her an angel. Brian, it turns out, was listening. The next morning, a man walks into Rondo. He dresses like something out of the Great Depression-worn coat, old boots, a face that's seen too many things and wants to see fewer. He steps into the local bakery, fixes a broken shelf in exchange for a meal, and absolutely refuses charity. The baker Vernon clocks him as a veteran from his jacket. The man is penniless, in a hostile town, and fixing shelves for sandwiches. That's either extreme survival instinct or the worst Airbnb experience ever. Sheriff Wiley materializes almost immediately, hand resting on his gun, hat low, voice lower. He tells the old man that strangers aren't welcome in Rondo. The man nods. He doesn't argue. He also doesn't leave. He finds Lena's saloon. Owen takes one look and sees another veteran. He calls him Nomada, the Nomad. The old man seems to like the name. He doesn't offer another one. He gets to work, fixing the oven, patching the roof, doing the odd jobs the place hasn't had hands for in years. At one point, working on the oven's ignition, he quietly slips a thin metal pin into his pocket. Old habit. File that away. Then Clyde comes back. He's not pleased to see the old man still there. He gives him 5 minutes to clear out. Nomada doesn't move, doesn't flinch, doesn't even blink. The stillness of a man who has been shot at in actual jungles is a very specific kind of stillness. Clyde is not ready for this conversation. Lena tries to defuse it. Clyde grabs her anyway. She throws a beer in his face. Stephen Lang's Nomada vaults over the bar counter, disarms Clyde in 4 seconds flat, and kicks all 3 men out of the building at gunpoint. Clyde goes home furious. He goes to his father, Jeremiah Whitfield. Harvey Keitel is not what you expect from a drug lord. He sits in his mansion reading quietly, or he plays Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata on the piano fingers, moving with the ease of a man who considers himself civilized. On the table beside him, military medals, decorations from his time commanding special forces. He was a soldier once, a real one, a cartel boss playing Beethoven in a mansion. His brand manager is absolutely working overtime. That evening, Owen and Lena explain everything to Nomada over dinner. Whitfield owns the brewery. Cocaine gets packed inside beer cans and shipped nationwide. Every resident in Rondo works for him, lives off what he provides, and owes him more than they can ever repay. Anyone who runs gets found. Owen knows that better than anyone. He tried to run and ended up in that chair. That night, back at the motel, Nomada falls asleep in the bath. The nightmare comes immediately. He sees his squad, green berets moving through dense jungle toward a target, an ambush. He watches them die one by one, and there's nothing he can do. He wakes up before dawn, stares at the ceiling, and picks up his Bible from the nightstand. He carries it everywhere. He knows what he is. He decides to stay. The next morning, Whitfield sends Wiley to arrest him for assault. Nomada looks the sheriff dead in the eyes and tells him he'll call Colonel Hollister of the U.S. Army and have the place crawling with federal agents inside 48 hours. Wiley backs down and leaves without another word. Lena stares at him. Is any of that true? Not a word, Nomada says. But when Whitfield hears the name Hollister, something shifts in his face. He knows that name. He knows it because Colonel Jack Hollister was declared dead years ago. There was a funeral. People attended. Whitfield knows exactly why Hollister disappeared because he was the one who sent Hollister's entire squad into that jungle without telling them what was waiting for them. Everyone died. One man walked out. The guy they hired to fix the plumbing turns out to be the ghost your crime empire conjured from the past. Absolutely nobody anticipated this staffing issue. That night, Lena changes her mind. She tells Nomada she can feel the storm coming. She begs him to stay. He agrees. He asks for one thing, a ride 50 miles north at dawn. Lena drives. They stop at an overgrown airstrip. A small plane lands. An old contact steps out and hands Nomada a crate and arsenal. Rifles, ammunition, explosives, tools of a trade he never stopped knowing how to use. Before he took the call, his contact had said 3 words first. "I was at your funeral." The world believes Jack Hollister is dead. He let them believe it. It was easier that way. He showed up looking like he found his clothes at a 1930s estate sale. He's leaving loaded like a private military contractor. Range. On the drive back, 2 vehicles appear behind them. Whitfield's hitman. Lena floors it. Nomada arms up. They go hard shots exchanged, cars pushed sideways. Lena's car taking rounds through the body panels. They barely reach an abandoned silo and bolt inside. Lena has been pouring drinks for 12 hours a day her whole life. She is now doing evasive combat driving through rural Arkansas. Resume update, incoming. Inside the building, Nomada splits from Lena and takes the men apart methodically. One gets a shotgun blast point blank. The other nearly finds Lena before Nomada arrives just in time. 2 hitmen. One old man with a shotgun and 40 years of muscle memory. The math was never in their favor. They head back to Rondo and walk straight into a nightmare. Clyde and his men have every resident in the saloon at gunpoint. The moment Lena and Nomada step through the door, Clyde puts a metal pipe across the back of his skull. Once, twice, more. Nomada goes down and stays down, survived a jungle ambush, a car chase, and 2 professional hitmen. Got blindsided at his local bar. There is no safe place. There is only the bar. Clyde drags Lena to his car. He has intentions. Zeke, played by Johnny Young Bosch, steps directly in front of Clyde and stops him cold. He reminds him of Jeremiah's orders. Clyde cannot handle Zeke, and everyone in the room knows it. He backs off. Zeke turns to the townspeople huddled against the walls. He almost sounds sorry. He isn't. "I apologize." From a man who is about to do the thing he's apologizing for is honestly the most unsettling sentence in cinema. His men open fire. The massacre takes seconds. Nomada opens his eyes to the wreckage. He doesn't react yet. He breathes. Then he reaches into his mouth, retrieves the thin metal pin from the oven igniter he pocketed on day 1, the one nobody noticed him take, and clicks open the cuffs. Wiley brings him to the brewery rather than the station, one last uneasy gesture toward something like conscience. Zeke corrects that immediately. Wiley is shot dead. Nomada slips into the brewery, and Jack Hollister takes over. He moves through the building like he was designed for it. Guards drop with single clean shots. He and Zeke meet in the corridor. What follows is violent, fast, and without mercy. Johnny Young Bosch choreographed his own beatdown. He planned his defeat move by move. That's either professionalism or a very specific kind of humility. Fists, kicks, weapons ripped from each other's hands. Zeke slashes him across the face. Hollister gets a fire hose around Zeke's neck, jumps off the railing, and the rope snaps taut. Zeke does not get back up. Clyde pulls into the lot with Lena. He gets out of the truck. Hollister steps into the open. Clyde, for reasons that defy all available evidence, decides to run him over. One shot, right between the eyes. The truck rolls to a stop on its own. He watched this man survive everything the operation threw at him for 3 days. Lena learns her father is dead. She absorbs it. She follows Hollister to the Whitfield mansion. Jeremiah is at the piano when they walk in. He turns. He sees Hollister. The shock in his face calcifies into contempt. He tries to pull rank, calls him soldier, tells him to stand down, to follow orders like he was trained to. "Sir, your empire is on fire. Your son is dead, and your enforcer is cooling on a brewery floor. The chain of command has left the building." Hollister confronts him directly. The mission, the ambush, the squad sent in without intelligence, without warning, without a chance. Men who died because their commander couldn't be bothered to tell them what was waiting. Whitfield never thought a dead man would come looking. He was wrong. Hollister shoots him in the leg, drenches him in wine, and lights him up. Lena wanted to do it herself. Hollister stopped her. Some weight doesn't need to be carried by someone who still has a future ahead of them. He saved her soul while burning down someone else's. That's a very specific kind of gentleness from a man who just ended several people. They walk out. The Whitfield mansion burns behind them. The brewery, the network, the debt, the control, all of it going to ash with the man who built it. In the days that follow, Lena buries Owen. A quiet funeral for a man who spent years paralyzed. waiting for something to shift. Something finally did. Too late for him. Hollister stands beside her. Then, at the edge of town, he stops the car. He tells her she's free now, that she can start over, go anywhere, be anything. She tells him, "God is with you." She drives away, and Nomada walks back out onto the road, just another drifter. He arrived with a Bible and a pin and nothing else. He fixed a broken place and kept moving. That's what he does. That's the only thing left that makes sense to him. He fixed shelves, dismantled a cartel, and quietly walked away. If you need odd jobs done, this man is criminally undercharging. The town of Rondo is free. Jack Hollister is still officially dead. And somewhere out there, he's already walking toward the next broken place. Hellfire was directed by Isaac Florentine, the Israeli-American filmmaker behind the undisputed sequels and the Ninja franchise, films that defined what DTV action cinema could be when someone actually cared about the craft. The film was produced across a staggering 10 production companies and distributed worldwide by Saban Films. It was shot entirely in Little Rock, Arkansas, despite being set in 1988 Texas, wrapped in September 2022, and spent 3.5 years shelved before hitting digital platforms on February 17, 2026. No theatrical release, no box office. On IMDb, it landed at 4.6 out of 10. What makes Hellfire quietly strange is who assembled it. Isaac Florentine got his start directing the original Power Rangers TV series in the 1990s. Johnny Young Bosch, who plays Zeke and choreographed every fight in the film, was the Black Ranger in that same series. And Saban Films, the company that distributed Hellfire, is the entertainment arm of the same Saban brand that created and owned Power Rangers. 3 veterans of the same 1990s franchise reunited 3 decades later in a neo-western about a dead man who came back to burn an empire to the ground. Nobody planned that. It happened anyway.